Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. I'm DAJIA, and actually, it's not. I'm not one of the writers of this paper, but the writer is my supervisor. But it's a pity that she can come today and ask me give a talk instead of her. So maybe I just give a brief introduction about this paper. And it's more like share my thinking and my understanding of this paper. So the main topic is Chinese collaborative software in digital transformation era. And first, I would like to give an introduction of this paper, but it's not the introduction of all slides. Because I think it's a good guide for you if you are interested in this paper. So first is the paper introducing the challenges and innovations of business management in the digital transformation era. And the second is describing two cases based on the enterprise case study. So actually this paper is a kind of a case study paper. And from two perspectives, one is organizational management, and the last one is enterprise architecture. And third is a discussion and analysis of their enterprise modeling methods and the trend of innovation of business model. So that's the basic structure of this paper. Next, okay, let's go into my part. So first is I want to introduce trend and innovation of digital transformation, and the second part is enterprise architecture of digital transformation. And I don't know if you have ever heard about digital transformation, if you have any idea about it. I think actually this morning I just tried to understand what is digital transformation, and let me check the basic definition. Is I think is this kind of concept is the result of the application of digital technology. The digital technology is used into all aspects of human society, and thanks to the rapid development of these digital technologies represented by mobile, social media, cloud computing, and so based on these digital technologies, and I think the digital transformation turns out and had led to the challenges and the innovation and brought new opportunities for business model innovation. And okay, sorry. And this is actually, I think this is very interesting figure because this is a research brought it by a Chinese group, Chinese research group, and they provide three perspectives to think about what is digital transformation, and for the researchers, what can we do under this environment. And for the practitioners, for enterprise, what should they do? So the first perspective is socialized value creation. My understanding is my understanding about it is now the enterprise try to guide the citizens, the cyber citizens, to participate in their business management, such as creating ideas, design and maybe a market promotion, etc. So the enterprise finish the design and design of their products and their innovation, referring to the people's ideas to help them produce their design and produce their products. And the second is network enterprise operation. I think it means that now the enterprises largely rely on the collaborative ecosystem constituted by social media, the cyber citizens, and cooperative partners, and even competitors. So I think that's the main meaning of what collaborative network illustrates. I think the basic definition of collaborative network is a range of actors come together and share their skills, their competencies, their resources, and in order to better respond and emerge opportunity, or in better to better achieve a common or compatible objective. So that's the basic definition of collaborative network, and I think this perspective just match the meaning of collaborative network. And the third one is the third perspective is real-time market insight. I think this part describe the value of data because I think the enterprise record and collect the data from users, from customers, and they collect many, especially behavioral data, and in order to design more accurate and more efficient business strategy. And actually, I want to give you a simple example to illustrate these three perspectives, and it's based on my experience as a normal cyber citizen. And actually, I like watching movies, and there are many small workshops, movie workshops, and maybe small skilled movie projects in China, and maybe taken by some young people, young producers, young directors, but they have good idea, but they don't have money. And so they got good idea. They publish their ideas and make a short film video in through the internet, maybe publish in a social media platform. And so the cyber citizens just like me, and I can see it through the platform, through the social media, and then the idea of them is they launch this project through internet, and so anyone interested in this project could be an investor. So I attended this kind of film project before. So I just need to cost, I think just I remember 50 RMB. I guess it's about 6 pounds. I guess almost around 6 pounds. And then when the movie succeeded in showing in the cinema, I can get a free film movie ticket, and my name will show in the end of the movie as one of investors. And how to say, this process gave me a sense of participation, and I feel first is a sense of participation and a free ticket, and my name is in the end of movie. So I feel happy because I just 50 RMB, and I got this result, and I feel happy. And the project succeeded, and the producers and the director, they reached their objective, and earn money. So I think that's my feeling of the first perspective is socialized value creation. For me, I got for value creation, and for the producers, the directors, they also reach their objective. So it's a kind of socialized value creation. And besides the operation and the accomplishment of this project, rely on a collaborative network constituted by, for example, social media, the cyber citizens just like me, and collaborative partners such as the producer, the publisher, the performers, etc. And that's concerning the network enterprise operation. And besides, the project has collected so much data from us to analyze what kind of story the audience hope to see, and why we are willing to invent this project. And it's really helpful to this workshop to produce the other movies. And I think that's my feeling of real-time market insight. So that's I don't know if I illustrate well. I just use my experience as a simple example to tell you my opinion of these three perspectives. And then this is enterprise architecture, and we can see there are different types of system. First is SOI, it means system of record. This type of system is normally is used in some traditional companies in China. For example, the ERP, CRM system, and the second is a system of engagement. When with the development of digital technology, we now use more mobile channels, and and based on social media. So this kind of system came out, and also we know it's a big data era, and so the data center is really important for every enterprise. And the last one is system of insight. This kind of system, I think the data center is really helpful for the system of this kind of system. So this is I think not every company need to use all of these systems. And this enterprise architecture also show the changing of the how to say, the changing of it illustrates the idea of digital transformation. It's a kind of change. It's kind of transformation. And next part is just two enterprise cases. And the first one is called DAJIA. In English, it means everyone. It means we. And another enterprise called SEEYON. And this kind of this is the this company develop a platform, and this platform is I think the main business mode of this company is just like virtual. they establish a virtual community to help the traditional companies to achieve a digital transformation. So I think that that's the basic business of this company. And here is the here is their collaboration platform. They normally they use the mobile terminals direct to customers. This is a kind of customer-oriented platform, and they collect many data from the customer, and also they can provide many perspective service to the traditional company to accomplish their digital transformation. And this shows their enterprise modeling method. The point of view of the writers of this paper, they think this is a kind of scenario modeling. It means that I think, for me, I think it's just illustrate it's a kind of customer-oriented business mode, and we can see there are three kind of customer flow. First is they try to attract the customer online and offline through many, for example, through the mobile app and through the QR codes, something like this, and that is operating customer flow. They have, I guess they have many. Actually, I think this it shows many small scaled service to the customer and to operate their customer flow. And the second is the customer flow realization. They sell goods, service, contents, and also they will give a business analysis report to their users. And another case called SEEYON. Actually, their business, the main business is to. This is a kind of software company, and their main product is to develop collaborative, develop a kind of system that can support collaborative network. And this is the their basic enterprise architecture. And this part shows their main service, main function of their platform, such as they build a collaborative office. I guess it's in use in their company internal environment, and then try to put it into their introduce this kind of services to their users. Okay, so here is how to say, based on these two case analysis, there is here shows perspective of these two these two cases. The first is about SEEYON. We can say there are two type of collaborative network. One is virtual organization, and one is virtual breeding environment. I think they are all one type of collaborative network. And regarding the company of SEEYON, their strategy is they are try to build I guess environment, virtual breeding environment, and they have a lot of users in this environment, and so they and I think next step for them is try to how to say not just make their products, their idea stuck in the internal in the present customers, and they try to achieve let's say socialized creation. And for the other company, DAJIA, is a kind of typical virtual organization. It's just a small scale, and they try to build their virtual breeding environment, and to achieve this kind of network enterprise operation. So that's the basic understanding of these two cases. Okay, so I'm sorry because this I think it's really pity, because if my supervisor come here, she will give a very good talk about these two cases, because actually I really not very familiar of these two cases. So if you are interested in this paper, please contact my supervisor, contact me, or the others, both is okay. And so if you have any question, and we can discuss about it.
Well, thank you very much, because that was quite hard to get over when you've learnt the script this morning and delivered the play in the afternoon. So well done on that.
Thank you so much.
Any questions? Anything's prompted?
Okay.
Yeah. So right. Yeah. I was thinking, what was the difference between crowdsourcing and socialized value creation, or is it same?
You mean the? Oh, sorry. So this, you mean?
Yeah, the socialized value creation and crowdsourcing that you participate.
I'm sorry.
Crowdsourcing is that you can participate anyone who like to participate. It's got a type of open innovation approach, like as you give an example that. So like you can finance a movie production, and then you are part of this production team in some extent. So and anyone who like to participate, in practice to give money, it's part of this.
Okay.
Or others can give ideas.
Yeah.
And in your case, example, you give little money.
Yes.
Actually, that a single individual gives some value. This case.
There is a difference. crowdfunding is definitely a fundraising mechanism, which might not necessarily have a direct participative benefit. What this could be is something where you're creating a community without necessarily raising money. The example, I'm not sure, was...
Yeah, maybe it's not
It was
very...
your personal example. I'm not sure it's quite what it's meant. So, for instance, if I had...
So the value defines.
Yeah, well, a community value.
Yeah.
Well, my choir yesterday, if you were there, yeah. So that's a bunch of people who come together. Yes, we meet in the village hall. We have an online mount the music, and then we practice the music, record the music. So it's got a socialised value. We're not selling the music or anything.
Yeah.
So we're not necessarily doing everything for commercial gain under that umbrella. Crowdfunding, though, you could crowdfund a specific project and just to be an investor risk. You don't necessarily have to participate. Yeah.
Further engagement, but the goal in value production is different.
But in that respect, your example of your movies
Yeah.
is exactly the same example as Celeband, which was a company doing crowdfunding, that's what they say themselves, which was doing this for music. So to actually make music CDs back in the years. It's exactly the same model, only this was a Dutch company and later German.
But they chose to sell their CDs. I just give my music away, as you can tell by the quality we give it. We can't sell it. There is a difference. I work with social enterprises that may take a government grant, for instance, and engage with the local community on things like shared caring for senior citizens, and have a register of people who are prepared to help, and doesn't necessarily have to be for a financial gain. My perception is there's a difference between crowdfunding and what that term's supposed to embrace. That might be a higher level that can include crowdfunding, but it can also be a not for return. And it depends what you define social value. So maybe we need to read the paper and see what the definition of social value is.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the big heavy book's already done about 100 miles backwards and forwards to my house. So has anybody got the proceedings with them?
And because social and socialized as a concept is so high level
Yes.
that maybe in the journal paper you have to define very carefully.
I guess we need to look up this Feng 2013 paper, if this is the reference this diagram is pulled from, yeah?
Yeah.
So this was the diagram reproduced in the proceedings, or is it your diagram?
No, actually this picture is not shown in the paper of Provi, and I'm not sure if because this paper is this figure is a translation version. In original, it's all in Chinese and it's published in another Chinese journal, and I'm not sure if they publish another paper into the in English to the international journal. I'm not sure, but maybe I'll find. And actually, this is a kind of they provide the basic idea of this paper. They try to give the researchers to the idea of research perspective to, let's say in the environment of big data, of digital transformation, and okay, here is the view, here's the perspective, and try to find your domain, your field, and try to find a position of you and try to work on it. That's the basic idea of that paper.
Okay. So I have a question. If you went back to the models with the sort of layered models of the two companies for a second, particularly the second one, it was orange, I think.
You mean the last slide?
That one, sorry.
Okay, this one.
Right,
Orange?
sorry, no, that one's I can get that one because it's go back a second.
Go back a second.
That one.
Sorry.
That one.
But it's a social creation, it's co-creation.
This one?
The orange one. The one.
Orange.
That one. Stay there.
Okay.
That has the concept of selling on the right-hand side, so there's a commercial aspect of that. So I understood that. That seems to me to be a platform that might be of interest for people trying to collate stuff and sell stuff. But my question is now going to be, go to the next model, the SEEYON, whatever it was, the next case.
Okay.
Right. How does that work or make money, or what's its purpose? Because I didn't get it, because there didn't seem to be customer and money and funds flow or anything like that in there. It seemed to be like a let's share our opinions on the latest record type platform. What's the purpose of that platform?
This platform.
This SEEYON, that's a company, yes, SEEYON,
Yeah.
and they've got this model.
Yeah.
What's it for?
Uh,
What's the purpose of this complex model here? Grow knowledge, make money, sell product, write papers.
I think because I'm not familiar with this company, but I guess this platform is used for the the state-owned company of China. It's a very good group
Right.
company and used inside, I think. And the state-owned company is really big scale company, and they have many partners. So I guess it's used for
So it's
collaboration.
a sort of a knowledge network inside an enclosed environment, so that suppliers can work with the company. So you wouldn't necessarily have cost and price and sales information. It's literally a collaboration platform. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
it is.
Thanks. Well, I guess in the interests of time, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next up, once you're ready to go, and you might have an hour. Well, not quite an hour. Well, I guess the classic is when you sign up to come to these conferences, you don't know when you're going to have your slot. So if you book your plane home, you're stuffed, aren't you?
Okay, I have a presentation about business roles in creating value from data in networks. And I come from Haaga-Helia, and the other authors are from VTT organization. And this is a part of big data, big business research consortium that I'm leading. And there's VTT and University of Eastern Finland. It's funded by the TEKES, that's Finnish Technology Fund. And companies. This is very big healthcare company in Finland, and this is developing AI technologies, and this is a manufacturing company. Actually, both. Also, we are cooperating with Reutlinger University and Vlerick Business School in Belgium, and we have also interviewed other companies than our partners. So the goal is this research is to identify B2B roles to co-create value with customer companies. So the background is that these new cognitive systems enables new ways to co-create value, and at the same time, because this new technology always opens new business opportunities. So we try to combine those. And here are some examples how the companies can do business by using cognitive systems and data. So the previous research is scant and mainly conceptual or theoretical. There's little empirical research. So we have found some articles that are dealing with the data-driven business models. So that they are mainly focusing on how to create offering, not the demand or customer value. So that's what the companies are providing, not what the customer is gaining. And we focus on the business roles from the value and customer perspective. So we interviewed then, and we collected our data from those companies, so different sectors, different size, and also some are very advanced utilizing cognitive systems, and some are learning in this field, and also we held 3 workshops with the companies as well. So this the key findings in this presentation. So we recognized 5 roles. The first one is technology provider. So in practice that's a software company, so software business, and the second one is data refinery. So for example, there is a media company in Finland that has a lot of customer data. They have many subsidiaries, and they have combined that data, and they are selling. They have built a kind of e-service where you can use those data and integrate your own data. And this business analyst example is like a healthcare company. So they are selling business insight to pharmacy factories, like how to do better medications. So by using that background data. So they don't sell such data, but they sell insight. And then the service provider, yes, here's for an example, a conventional staffing company, a service company. So they are building new AI-based services, supporting services to their customers. So they have a conventional kind of manual service offering, but at the same time they are providing more data-based services, like in the logistics, so that they can help the companies to build smarter logistic systems. Okay. Even though they are offering the basic logistic service.
Yeah, got it.
And the value catalyst, that's like a retailing business. Companies have bonus cards and loyalty programs, and they are collecting data from customers. So they are giving some value back to those customers, like they give some information, like an energy company. So that they provide a service that shows how much electricity you are using and how you could save, in your case, energy, because they know how you use the energy, and they give some hints, or they can, a retailing company can give some ideas how to cook better food. They know what you buy usually, so that they can give some recommendations. So it's called reverse use of data, that they collect data, they use it, but they give some value back. So this column here, this shows value creating activities, and this is the business value from the customer side. Like this is the much they provide software systems. They give like enables richer, qualified analytics. They provide business insight, and they improve processes, and they enhance customer experience. So we have ended up those 5 roles. So some thoughts in the discussion is that that this research focuses on the ongoing debate about the AI and data-driven business opportunities. And we noticed that the companies that's pretty common, that companies seldom create value alone, but they are a part of some networks and value chains. But this adopting cognitive systems plus data analytics, so it's creating business opportunities practically to every company. And the same company can have several roles, so it depends on the size of the company and their position. That's always question that what you want to do by your own or what you want to buy as a service.
Yeah.
So on. So that's a management thing. So some conclusions that's interesting that very conventional service companies are also developing data-driven services, and I think this is the part of the digitalization what you talked about. That every company is looking for how they could benefit from digitalization, and it's talk about the digital transformation. And when they are building those new systems on the top of the conventional services, so they are entering also the new business ecosystems and new networks. So they are becoming close to technology area. But this cognitive systems may also create a business risk because the competition environment changes. So that's why companies have to be very careful. Like those some advanced companies are building, new services based on the cognitive systems. They gain some competitive advantage compared to those who don't adopt them yet. Or new services could replace some role in the value chain. But when companies are looking for new opportunities, so they have to recognize their position in the value chain and the value network, because companies are network and they are cooperating each other. So companies have to be very careful that when they start to build new services, they might become a competitor to some of their current customers also.
Yeah.
So theoretically, that's a value conflict situation then. So this is not so simple in practice. Okay, thanks.
Well, thanks very
Questions?
much. Any questions? Sure.
Yeah, it's not really a question, but it's something we can discuss also,
Yeah.
because I'm interested in that area.
Yeah.
And thanks, you have been in the industry before coming back to academics.
Yeah.
My curious question is on source of data. When you talk about cognitive systems,
Yeah.
whether it's a service or goods, we start from extracting material. If it is goods, we manufacture, we deliver, and then we sell it to customers. If you look on most existing platforms, at least we can get data from customers. When you count, for example, on online shopping or just point of sale, as like when you go to supermarket, that's where you can get information about a customer. And probably from that data you can create value. Now, do you have any other source, apart from point of sale, as a source of data which can be used now to generate value? Do you know any other source that is commonly maybe used?
Yeah, in those platforms.
Yeah, consider the supply chain.
Yeah.
Mostly to my understanding, and my understanding also may be limited, we get more data at a point of sale.
Yeah.
When the customer is purchasing service or is purchasing goods, that's where we can get at least even the behavior of a customer. And if you ask me, I'll tell that's the point of data. That's where I get the data about the customer. Now, apart from that, do we have another area where we can get data that will create value to business?
Yeah, that I know that many companies are also interested in those they are called non-customers, who could be their customers, but who are not. so maybe it depends on how what you get from the public.
Yes.
Public data like on the net.
Okay.
Or some partners might have data that you don't have from your current customers. Usually the best insight you get when you can combine many data sources.
Okay.
So
But that's one challenge in big data, that
Yes.
can you have the data, can you use it, and what is the quality of the data, and so on.
In this extent of using data in order to create business and new opportunities for companies, how do you reconcile this data acquisition with privacy problem? Because we had a very interesting
Cambridge Analytica.
Yeah, for instance.
Yeah.
And we had very interesting talks about someone else in the conference about privacy, and me, not just as a researcher but as a human, I feel a bit uncomfortable as with the fact that someone or something gather my data and use it in order for the companies to make business, but for me to pay in something I may not want at the beginning. So
yeah. No, we did a survey, so it wasn't part of this presentation, but it was part of our research project. So we did a survey about the privacy and trade-off, and we noticed that customers and people are more willing to give data if they give some back. So it's a question of trade-off. That if you give data, so if you get something back, so that then we know this, like in the healthcare sector, we are working on the gene data. So if people understand what is the benefit to them, so then they are more willingness to provide a permit to use that data for research and commercial purposes.
yeah,
If they understand this benefit.
If you
to
do not pay,
them.
you're not the customer, you're the product. It's a well-known sentence. If I do not pay, I'm not the customer, I'm the product. And it's something already well-known, and we saw this sentence everywhere in the net this month. And yeah, I understand your point, but me as a future customer, I don't know, it's about the privacy. I'm still a bit feel awkward about this vision of banking businesses about data without considering that.
Yeah,
how we gather them.
it depends on the sector. Like in the banking, there's an example in the Netherlands that the bank opened a new kind of service that they recommended to their customers something based on their account information, and they had to close it because it became so big public relationship problem.
But of course, this is kind of a very small fight beyond the real battlefield.
Yeah.
Since I have this discussion with my students and even many business professionals, I'm rather saying, oh, my privacy. Say, whenever you have a question, how do you answer this? I Google this, of course. So everything that we find interesting, we give voluntarily to Google.
Yeah.
We got what clicked, yes, you can do with this data whatever you like.
Except,
And do you know how much profit Google made in selling advertisements in 2015?
But Google is a good example of a trade-off.
Isn't it? No,
You can use Google if you don't accept their.
It's not a good example of a trade-off. It's a good example of the ignorance of its users.
Okay.
yeah, I noticed when I installed the latest application of Google, it came up, we have changed our terms and conditions, and just as was said this morning, do we go and look, or do we just press the I accept?
Nobody has a time to read.
No, but because of the 30 pages that no human being can understand if you haven't been to law school.
And I now understand over the last couple of years, I was trying to get a new carry-on suitcase, yeah? So I'm there looking at a feed from the Guardian newspaper about something in healthcare. This little thing comes up the sides, it's giving me the price of Samsonite suitcases, and I'm thinking, what? What's going on here? And that's where it comes from.
My friend, this is called Google AdWords.
Yeah.
And that's the small advertisements next to your search results. And be aware, it's not a small advertisement next to your search results, it's the small search result next to the advertisement.
Yeah.
Google in 2015, I don't have the 2016 figures, they made $66 billion only with the small advertisements. 66 billion.
But I
That's
haven't
not
bought
zero.
the case yet. I haven't bought the case yet, so it's just marketing at me. I haven't bought it yet. But that's they make it from the referral link, don't they?
And
yeah.
as long as the majority of people voluntarily give this data to Google or to Microsoft or to Apple or to Amazon, then all the other discussion about privacy is complete nonsense. Well, not complete, but
Yeah.
small.
A slight divergence away from the paper, but you are right. The new Microsoft Fall Edition, whatever it's called, there was something specific when you installed it about Edge, their search engine.
Right.
They basically said, tick this box and you will receive targeted advertising. Don't tick this box and you'll still receive advertising. So I'm thinking,
Oh, no.
am I paying for this? I'm paying to be sold at? Because when we watch the television on our recorders, we fast forward through the adverts, don't we, to get to the next installation. So one question I had about these roles, are you creating what I would call an intermediary company, which is a company that didn't necessarily exist, but that now the data is available to do analytics and analysis? It's like a new form of business, a new company? Because you mentioned sometimes these were inside businesses, but then you've described these roles that seem to me to be looking very much like that controversial company called Cambridge Analytica, I think. The people who used a research contract to mine Facebook, wasn't it? It was Facebook, to influence the US presidential elections.
Yeah.
So they took their terms and conditions, abused it, and it was a Russian research professor, I think, who did some freelance work for them. The company's gone bust now, but they were they'd found a place inside. It's like the expression. I don't know if you have it where you come from. A fox in a hen coop. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like plunder everywhere because I can. So are these new roles, or are these redefined roles within an organisation, or have you got a new company that you're wanting to create?
That's a good idea, because when we have collected our data, we have used existing companies, but like the Cambridge Analytics. So they are kind of business analysts, but the customer value is not business insight. Actually, they create business insight, but what the like Donald Trump organization wanted, they didn't need insight, but they wanted to impact to some result. So the business insight is not the final outcome, but what our final outcome is to change the game in some area.
So insight creates knowledge from which you create impact by manipulating Twitter feeds and things. No, I'm not saying you do. That's what the allegation.
Yeah, that's good idea, because it is anything about those, because it's like it's a new output.
Because the one at the end, of course, our giant retailer Tesco, which is one of the biggest companies in the world. Yeah, I have no problem at all. Every time it scans my stuff saying I'm buying these tea bags, for some reason a giant amount of Stella Artois beer. There was the World Cup. And then giving me discount vouchers back, personalised, to say next time you buy 2 crates of beer, we'll give you 1 free. I mean, to me, that's a great added value.
Yeah.
And I don't mind that they're mining my data. Apart from my doctor might say, now I have evidence that Andrew ought to cut back on his beer.
Yeah.
So a lot of us with loyalty cards subscribe to that bottom model. Hilton Honors, all the airlines, of course, they play that game. How do you feel? I guess like me, if that's specific to a service you've signed up for, I don't mind that. Where I find that my data is being sold on to a third party, who I haven't signed up to sell the data on to, is where I get concerned. So your value catalyst within an organisation, the Tesco organisation, is loyalty card. I'm comfortable with that. But if I find all of a sudden an insurance company, remember I just said I drink quite a lot of beer, an insurance company suddenly says your premium has gone up because we have evidence trail that you buy quite a lot of beer.
Yeah.
Buy, not drink, buy. I might have a big family and lots of parties, yeah? So how do you differentiate between the boundary condition of what's acceptable to enhance the customer's experience and the abuse of that customer's data, which I'm afraid is the data refinery role there? What's inside the organisation and what's potentially outside in a new business line?
Yeah, that's true that it's kind of boundary question.
It's a boundary question. That's exactly what it is. I think when we think we're signing these terms and conditions, we think we know the boundary that we are playing in, or even the playing field we're playing on. But these rule changes is where, when that data pops up, my insurance premium goes up, or my TV. My TV company suddenly are offering me new services that I have no idea where they've got the information from, or Samsonite are trying to sell me suitcases. Do we have any rights in that model?
Yeah. I think some are like GDPR. That's a GDPR. That's a privacy.
Yes. Okay.
What is the rule? It's a European Union.
Oh, sure. Yes.
Privacy.
Yes.
What is the English?
Yeah, I know what
it's
you mean.
It's a privacy kind of law that became. So that deadline ended in the
May.
May.
Said, please carry on subscribing to us.
Yeah. But so companies have defined how they use data and how they provide, or why they provide it to the third parties. So usually many companies are telling that they're using the data for marketing and improving customer service and so on. Plus they could provide data to third parties. So
But that's exactly what they did when they changed the terms and conditions. When Google put new terms and conditions and Microsoft new terms, it was to get over this, because on page 36 it'll say, I'm prepared for my data to be shared with other organisations that might be to my benefit.
Yeah.
And I've ticked, I agree.
Yes, otherwise it won't work.
Yeah, and it depends on also, like we have found that customers, when they have become customers, they are eager to provide permission to use their data, not before, when they are charging a service. But when you have a contract with a customer, so then they are eager to give the permission.
When you have a contract with a customer, there are entirely different terms and conditions, mainly about the quality of supplied goods and services, recourse in legal action, etc. Because that's a real transaction with money and customers. What we're actually doing here is giving our digital activities away for free. If I say 15 years ago I went to this lecture by a very eminent data analytics person, and she said she could foresee a future where we sell our data to these organisations. So it was like Google inverted. Yeah, we create our own personal profile of our likes and hates, etc., and we bank it for whatever, £100, like filling in a survey. For £100 I'm selling myself. And what we've actually seen is that being turned on its head, and without any money changing places. Our LinkedIn profiles and aren't they owned by Microsoft now? LinkedIn? They're owned by a giant company, aren't they? LinkedIn?
I was just thinking, I think they're still by themselves.
I think it's part of a giant multinational, because it was too valuable.
Yeah.
Because LinkedIn is a professional network, not Facebook. You don't put, your party snaps on LinkedIn. So I got the feeling it was sold for a lot of money.
It's very good in
right.
business.
It's owned by Microsoft.
Yeah. And that's sorry, just to close the loop.
We can Google that. Now Google knows that I'm into LinkedIn.
So that's why when I was installing Office 365 the other week and the new Outlook came up, it said, do you want us to take your contacts and map them against LinkedIn?
Oh, yes.
So it's actually suddenly created a neural network between my confidential contact list and all these flipping public profiles.
That's not a neural network, that's much simpler. You don't need a neural network for that.
You don't, right.
It's much simpler.
So I'm thinking of going back to a paper diary. An old Nokia phone I've found with just phone numbers in.
Yeah.
But it still works.
So do you know who owns Android? Phone they carry all day long.
Google?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's impossible, as this is a cell phone, you can even switch off your location services. But it's impossible to use a cell phone without knowing which cell you are. So even if you switch off the location services, you always know where you are on a cell-to-cell basis, which is about 1 kilometer.
It works even if you switch off.
Sorry?
It is a location service.
You got to take the battery out and the SIM card out.
Yes, otherwise they still know where you are, only not that precise. Otherwise they cannot call you. That's a cellular network. That's how a cellular network works. You can only be called when they know which cell you are.
And that's how the police find you if you get kidnapped.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's why the first thing we do is take the SIM card out of your phone and take the battery out and throw
A
it
new
away.
service to help you.
Yes. So that's what
Sorry,
I mean.
total digression.
You give far more data away about yourself than you've ever dreamt in your worst nightmares. And this is already, it's not going to happen, it's already happening.
To the stage that you can't undo it, because the data held about you is, you couldn't go out to all the different organisations and say, bring my data. That's what the European Union tried to do back in May. But the first thing you did is you turned it on the 1st of June and you get, here's our new terms and conditions. I consent. Have you noticed all the things pop up, the cookies? I consent because it won't let you progress. So coming back to this roles here, which of those do you think are modifications of existing roles and what are brand new that could create a brand new business? Are they all fancy new definitions of existing roles?
I think the data refineries, actually, but they need the data. Like Facebook and those companies are refining data, but you have to have it.
So is that the actual business of Google, the refining of the data, or does somebody refine the data and give it to Google?
No, they refine. And by the way, data refinery is not so new. There's actually a company called Data Refinery, which is housed in Amsterdam, and I think they started in 1995. So a bit over 20 years ago, naming themselves doing Data Refinery.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
They started in the time that we didn't say big data, but we just called it data mining. But that's essentially the same.
Yeah, that's the Finnish media company, that's Aller Media. Their service name is, in Finnish, it's a refinery. Because you can reach your analytics by combining your own, I know that like insurance companies are using their service.
And unfortunately, that's why there was something published at the weekend as to what the top salaries paid to UK graduates are, and number one is computer scientists from Imperial College. And I'm thinking, are they writing code or are they doing data mining programs?
Yeah.
So, this is your organisation, yeah? Haga Helia?
Yes.
Is that a management consultancy?
No, we are applied university.
Oh,
We have some commercial services as well,
okay.
and education export to South America and
So was it
Asia.
like, did you say you had a grant to produce this research right at the start?
That's
At the very start, you had all these companies that were involved as your team.
oh. This is funded by Tekes. Nowadays it's Business Finland. That of Finnish technology fund.
Is that a government-backed?
The government
Okay.
funded. That's 1 million project.
So what's the goal of all this research? Where is it intended to be used? Is it just for its own sake, or are you creating new business paradigms and models for the country?
We have work packages that we do surveys, and then we have the technology work package that's about text analytics, like natural language analytics, and we are doing like semantic analytics about the emotions. We recognize emotions from Twitter data and public internet data. Also, we have work package. We create new business concepts and models, and the last one is kind of dissemination, like recommendations and tools for companies how to create new business from data.
So that was a target output, a new business model is what you were looking to achieve here.
Yeah, it's a main goal.
Okay.
Also, we have done surveys like a data privacy and trade-off things, and also we have done research on big data governance models. How companies, when they want to take benefit from data, so they have to have some big data governance model, like security, availability, and those things. Accessibility to data. Actually, we are publishing an article about this big data governance, and what else we do.
Well, what intrigued me is what we were just talking about. In the world of financial credit, there's companies called Experian and several companies that say, here's your credit profile, here's your financial credit profile, and you can do searches and get records changed if they're inaccurate. Is there a business that could do the same for your online profile? Go and find out all these things that connect and see data that you can then put a blocker on. Like me randomly pay £400 to have your data record cleansed, and if they don't agree to delete the data, sue them. Doesn't exist?
Yeah.
I'll tell you, with the young people coming through Facebook and these media and not being able to get jobs because there are companies that specialise coming the other way, human resources departments of banks, management consultants looking at their boozy weekends and photographs and saying, sorry, we're rescinding this job offer. You can't have the job anymore because we've looked at your Facebook profile. I'm thinking it ought to be a service, especially for people under the age, when they hit 18, they don't really know what they're doing under that age. And even between 18 and 21, sometimes I've got a challenge. But the age of responsibility in this country is 18. So, you know, I think even criminal proceedings, you have a different judicial system when you're young. You can't vote or anything.
Yeah. But in Finland we have a lot of employer can Google your information when you are applying a job.
Exactly.
So that's illegal.
Right.
So that they can use only information that you have provided to the company. But I know how easy it is to Google, but it's illegal to use. I don't know, is it European wide, but in Finland we have this kind of law. It protects the employer because company can say that is this fake profile or real profile, or is it just you or a person with same name and same faces, because you cannot guarantee this information that is it real.
Well, there's a difference between being offered a job, okay, and it could be classed as part of normal reference background in this country, definitely, and I know the banks do this because it's about reputational risk. So if I also told you, if you said something defamatory about your employer in this country in an online profile, your personal Facebook, that got back to the company, people have been sacked for that. And in our National Health Service, sacked and disenfranchised because it's one national employer. So if you say something bad about that employer, you're out of the industry. You're out of the public sector health because they've got a black tick, like a tick against you to say not happening. They're not going to work in the NHS.
Yeah.
So I guess that you're saying that's illegal in Finland, yes?
Yeah. That's when you are applying a job. But if you are already working in some company, then you have to be very careful, especially in social media. What you say like
so
about your company.
Yeah. So that's the same.
Yeah.
So you're just not allowed to do a check before you employ somebody.
Yeah. But like we have cases in Finland that some like CEOs have got fired because they have caused so big, discussion on the social media. They have done something that people, the audience didn't like it. So it's a reputation question.
Which is only valid when you're an employee of that organisation and thus representing that organisation. If you're not got an accepted job offer, you're not an employee yet.
Yes.
It's that stage you're saying they can't ask you queries.
Yeah, there's a line of order when you're applying, so you are safe. But when you are an employer, you have to be able to behave on the social media. That's why I'm not using, I'm only reading Facebook. I'm very careful what I post and write on the Facebook, because Facebook is, LinkedIn is different, but Facebook is.
Huge number of people have turned it off, so I'm not sure where that organisation's going. Very eminent people have turned it off, and it's not. I haven't used it for years, although I get emails every day saying there's 98 people sent you something in Facebook. They're probably all bots and things.
Yeah.
Out of interest, somebody I know, here's a funny one, who completed the training as a doctor for our National Health Service. They did this 5-year degree, 2-year foundation, and then they decided they didn't know where they wanted to specialise for the next, so they were taking a year off. So they left the health service in July, end of July, and then their former hospital that they just left said, we're desperately short of doctors, please will you come back and work for us? So the person said, okay then, for 6 months, because they want to go to Australia. And then they're now waiting to have their security clearance and check and background check. So they haven't been working for that company for 6 weeks, and now they've got to go through the whole security vetting and everything again. And I said to the person, is it because you went to the US on holiday? Are you now some sort of espionage person? I mean, the data searches before offering a job in the health service here are like joining the police or the military or the civil service. Civil service here do these enormous background checks before you can be a civil servant.
Yeah.
So that's a sort of extreme case of what you just described. There's no real need for that. Surely if the person just signed a declaration saying, I haven't done anything wrong in the last 6 weeks. So if that means for 2 months, this doctor can't work on the wards of the hospital.
Yeah.
Right, any other points to raise? I haven't read the paper in fairness, and I want to now because I think there's something of interest in there about intermediary businesses. Any other questions?
Read Blown to Bits from Harvard University 1998.
Read what?
Blown to Bits, Harvard University Press 1998.
Blown to bits.
Yes, about disintermediation, reintermediation.
Yeah.
It sets the scene for these kinds of questions. It's old, but it was written at the high time of the internet hype, when everything seemed gold.
Oh, the .com boom, I think.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, thank you very
Okay,
much.
thanks.
I don't know where the third person went.
Well, if he or she wants to start now, I would say a little bit late.
It's as I said, it says you need to come be present to have a paper published.
Yes.
But if you've booked a 5 o'clock flight back tonight,
You shouldn't. Since you know that the conference may not have ended for you.
well, I don't know about your place, but I'm just driving backwards and forwards here, so it doesn't cost me anything. But sometimes questions are asked, particularly I've got meetings tomorrow at the university. So if I was in Italy, like last year, they'd be saying, you've got to come home to be in the office at 9 o'clock tomorrow. So the only flight from Venice to Bristol is at 11 o'clock in the morning, so I'd have to have missed 3/4 of the last day. They don't give you travel time as part of your
Okay,
working week. But thanks a lot, guys.
See you at the coffee.
Had you loaded that up? Did you want to take that off? Were you driving that from here?
Okay.
I suddenly realised you're looking at a lot of presentations all over the Cardiff universities.
Yeah.
That's why they get cleared when we log off.
They do?
Yeah, it's the temporary lecturer account we're logged in on.
Right.
It's better to empty trash.
Yeah, if you're worried.
This one.
It's like a temporary desktop.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can tell you finished because I had an email that recording had stopped. in this room.
What had stopped?
The lecture capture.
Oh, ages ago. Well, no. We've only just finished. We're having an interesting dialogue about data privacy and its abuse and use. I don't know if you've got the same challenge.